Hello everyone, I'm very excited for the start of the new NBA season. I'll be posting more videos this year, so if you enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for videos throughout the season. Overall thoughts on this slate, I think one, the prices make it into a stars and scrubs slate, especially with Draymond Green, who is now doubtful for the season opener. Still have to wait on some other guys like Schroeder, he's probably going to play, and then there's Marcus Morris and James Wiseman. So they're going to be key injuries to watch. It's going to affect a lot, especially on a small slate. So overall for the strategy though, two gamers, I think that game stacking is a viable strategy. Normally for NBA, game stacking, just stacking in general, it's not like NFL or MLB. I don't ever probably stack because the only way that usually works is a short slate or it's a game that goes into overtime. But because it is a short slate, I think that you can definitely do that. If you are, the Warriors Nets game is the better one to stack because they're just both solid offensive teams, so potential to be high scoring, but they're both pretty bad defensive teams. Whereas the other game, Clippers, Lakers, they're two of the best defensive teams in the league. So we're just gonna go with the first game. I think here for the Golden State side, Steph Curry, we know he's a dude. There's no Klay Thompson, Draymond Green looking to be out as well. Curry, he's going to have to carry everything for this team. There's a chance that this could blow out. It is a 7 point spread right now. But Curry, 9,300. If this game's going to be close, Curry has to just have a pretty good game. Now, Wiggins and Oubre, I think that they're priced about right or a little bit too high, that they're just not a whole lot of upside. Like, I think you just rather pay up for these studs or you go down a little bit more into the 5K range. So they're kind of just on an island of their own. And then looking further down, though, I think there is a lot of value with Draymond. If he somehow were to play, I think he's a pretty solid play because he's 6,300 with a lot of upside. He's just the guy that contributes all across the board. And also, you can put him at a lot of positions in your lineup. Looney, I just don't want to play him when he's 5,200, even if Wiseman were to miss. If Wiseman were to start, I think he could be an option depending on how many minutes that he does play because he was out. He did not play any preseason games, so it'd be really tough to see him maybe getting over 20 minutes. 4,900, not so sure about that. Um, Marquise Chris 4K, he could be an option because, or more so if Wiseman is out because that's going to be Chris and Looney, where Chris is a very productive player, so he can definitely close the game if he were to have a pretty good start. So there's a lot of potential at 4K if Wiseman is out, but Eric Pascal is going to be one of the chalkier options, and I think that because this slate it sets up into a more start and scrub slate, you're gonna have to play some value pieces. And Pascal, he's just gonna grade out the best. Draymond Green is out, then Eric Pascal is going to probably slide into the four, and he's someone that a lot of people like to say that he's like a mini Draymond Green, which I don't think is that accurate. I think maybe like physically, their body types, but Pascal's not anywhere near the defender that Draymond is. His stats, assists actually are pretty good, but you have to remember that all these stats in the game log, they're because Steph Curry was out most of the games. So you're not going to get these crazy outpourings of real life points. So don't think that this is like an absolute smash play. I think that he's going to make sense because he probably does get a lot of minutes and he's certainly not priced to play a bench role. So he's going to be talked about everywhere. So that's it for him. He's just going to be a good value play. And then other guys, Brad Wanamaker, last guy, he's the cheapest option I think honestly that you can go to at 3,300. He might play like as low as 10 minutes, but he's got a really low floor, but some type of ceiling of maybe like 20 points because I mean, at 3,300, you don't need him to do a lot. It's more of like the playoff slates that we had the past season where you took like a 3K guy because it allowed you to get to the studs. And with this kind of line or this kind of slate where there are a lot of studs we want to pay up for the Brooklyn side, I'm gonna like Kyrie over KD because of the 1,300 difference. They're both gonna be coming back from injuries and probably gonna be a load management thing. But first game of the season, I'm not gonna really factor that in. I think Kyrie's just underpriced. 1,300. Yeah, KD's the better player, but when you're factoring in price and position, $1,300 could be a lot. And I think Ceiling wise, they're pretty comparable. KD definitely more defensive stats, but on this slate, I think Kyrie's just gonna be the better play. Now, other Brooklyn guys, Karis LeVert, at the prices that they're at, they're a little bit too expensive. But because it is a 2 game slate, I think that there's still going to be viable plays that you can plug in. I think you don't want to like start your lineup with like I'm going to play LeVert first. They're just more of like fill-in options, similar to Oubre and Wiggins. I would rather play Oubre and Wiggins over LeVert. Dinwiddie, I think that or the lineup you're gonna have to monitor that. Like if it does look like DeAndre Jordan is going to start over Jared Allen, so that's gonna not be good for Allen. But if Allen were to start, I think that he's worth taking a shot on because Golden State, like Looney's an undersized center. Wiseman, he's a rookie. We don't really know what he's gonna be like yet. He hasn't been playing in the preseason, and Marquise Chris definitely beatable down low. But Allen and Jordan, they're kind of priced up where they're they need to get a lot of rebounds and blocks, which is it could happen, but it's just unlikely that they're going to be in the optimal lineup. Joe Harris, 4,800. He's an okay play, but he's a shooter that he's not going to get as many rebounding and assist opportunities just because they have two usage monsters in Kyrie and KD now. Shamet, I just rather go to Harrison if you're going to do that. Jeff Green, his minutes are probably not going to be a lot. Maybe he's not even in the rotation. Taurean Prince, 3,900. He might play like close to 20 minutes, but he's got a really low floor. Matchup, that's fine. 2 game slate again, so 3,900. Any guy that's this cheap, you're gonna have to consider. But again, just a very low floor. So tournaments, sure you can look to it, but Pascal still gonna be a lot better. And then these other guys, they're not really gonna be in the rotation. Like Shoza's waived, they're just not even gonna play. Now the second game, I think that it's 80 over LeBron. LeBron, we know that he's probably going to rest a lot. He might take it easy a little bit, but still, this is a match. This is the first game of the season. A guy like LeBron, I don't expect him to take it off, but the Clippers, we know that they're very weak inside. We targeted this Clippers team all season for the past 2 years, I think now, because of the center position. And I think that even though with Serge Ibaka now on this team, Ibaka is not that great of a defender. He's not the same OKC Ibaka that we've seen. And that just makes AD a good play. And I think because he's also $400 more expensive, that maybe people just go to LeBron and there's less ownership on AD, which I would just rather go with AD because that's one of the weaknesses of the Clippers. I think that's why they signed Ibaka, but still, AD is a top 5 player in the NBA, so it doesn't matter about the matchup. This is really not bad at all. And we know the Lakers' usage flows through AD and LeBron. So to get some part of this game, why not go with AD over LeBron? Now on the Clippers side, Paul George over Kawhi. It's a price thing now here because Paul George 7,800. If you look at the entire slate, he's kind of alone. Like he's in the middle of nowhere, but he's the guy that has a lot of upside that can match Kawhi Leonard's output. So I'm gonna rather go with Paul George over Kawhi because I'm able to save that 1,300. Same with the Kyrie and KD situation. Now looking at the 5K value guys, there are actually some good ones here, both sides. Schroeder 5'8", I think is pretty good for him. Obviously, if he were to play as pretty much the third option, the second ball handler, he's going to get minutes, especially with LeBron off the court. So he's going to be the main ball handler. So 5,800 against the Clippers, which maybe he sees a Patrick Beverly, but Beverly's defense is overrated, and Schroeder, his price is really good here. Kyle Kuzma, he's overpriced. Lou Williams, he's got upside, just like Schroeder. Lou Williams, he's got a little bit of less assist upside, probably not, but they're both kind of like these shifty, crafty guards that are just kind of solid all around. They can get you production everywhere, but I think in 5K, they're the guys that have 30, 40 point upside, even though with Schroeder coming onto this team still. They're really good plays. I'd much rather play them over like Kuzma, Jordan from the Nets game. Now, Montrezl Harrell, I really like this play. I think he's going to be my favorite play if you're trying to pick out of this 5K range because 5,300 is too cheap. I would much rather go with Harrell over like Marcus Gasol, Zubats, Morris. Harrell 5,300 being eligible at power forward as well. If you look at the slate at the center position, it's pretty weak. If you're not paying up for 80, I really don't like Allen Jordan. So unless Wiseman's going to play big minutes or Marquise Chris gets solid run, you're really looking thin here. So I think Harrell's going to be very useful at center, obviously with Ibaka as well. But Harrell, I think he's just slightly a better play in my opinion. And if you really think about it, Harrell, he's going from a team with George and Kawhi to AD and LeBron, which still they're two usage monsters both sides. So he's now cheaper, like $1,000 cheaper than what we've seen when he was good. Obviously, when he was in the bubble, he was like 4K. That's a different story. Now, other guys that we haven't talked about for this last game, I do have to mention Beverly 4400. Very low floor, single digits, but if he's able to stay out of foul trouble, he can get there somehow. KCP gonna be shot reliant. Caruso, he's a good play, even with shorter in, because he's 4K. He's gonna play probably like 20 minutes or something. He can contribute across the board. And then Luke Kennard, last guy I'm gonna mention because this is a player that actually is pretty good for playmaking. He's known for his 3-point shooting, but he's got that assist upside. Now, this is a different team, obviously, so he's not going to get the same opportunities, and probably he's going to see some of the court with at least one, I would say, of Kawhi, Paul George, and Lou. So it's going to hurt his playmaking abilities, but he's going to be one of the main Clipper options, probably like the seventh guy, maybe eighth, Zubats, but Kennard is definitely the better offensive production player, along with Lou, right, six man. So Kennard, he's a shooter, but he's pretty good compared to other guys because he's not just like strictly point dependent. So he's 3,600. I think he's gonna fly under the radar a bit, especially if Pascal is going to be the top value play. I think he'd play Kennard with Pascal even, and just get a lot of value, be able to fit the studs. So overall for this slate, I think that you need exposure to all these games. So for all these teams rather, and the best play, I'm gonna go with Kyrie Irving at point guard, but I really like Steph Curry because that's how this game's gonna be close. If you're gonna play Kyrie, hopefully he could do it in three quarters, but if it's not a blowout, Curry has to be doing really well. So I like to kind of run back Curry, Kyrie, and then I'll get the cheaper option in Paul George from the Clippers side. You can play Ibaka, Harrell, but because I do have Paul George here, I'm gonna go with Harrell over Ibaka for the center position because center does seem a little bit weak. And then the fifth final play I'm going to give is Eric Pascal because I mean it's just gonna be a chalk play. You just kind of plug and play, and then if Draymond Green is out, and especially for cash, you just do not fade. But to game slate, I'm more gonna be having a tournament approach, so I'm gonna go with Kyrie, Paul George, Pascal, Montrezl Harrell, and Steph Curry for this first opening night of two games for the NBA slate. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at Boffles. Link will be in the description below because injuries, we already know that they're going to be updates. So make sure you follow because I'm going to give updates on there. So you don't want to miss out on that. So again, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully we have a great start to this NBA season and good luck on this slate.